In my job every day, I have focused for the last 32 years, I've gotten to take care of people as both a surgeon and a sports doc and in the laboratory at optimizing performance while minimizing injury. And it's important not only for everyday mere mortals like you and me, but it's very important if we're trying to turn us into the best parts of ourselves and perhaps even superheroes. So how does a clinician like me think about human performance when I'm taking care of people? What is the framework that I'm using? Well, interestingly, a couple of investigative reporters have framed this issue for us in the form of a couple books that I'm sure you're well aware of. Malcolm Gladwell, who's one of my favorite authors, used the research of a clinician named Erickson to name 10,000 hours as your key to success. But it all originated, if you can read the really small print, when Erickson said that if you start as a child and diligently work for 10 long years, you will accumulate 10,000 hours and you will be the superhuman version of yourself. So that's one aspect that I'll briefly cover today. The second is based on the research of a group of sports geneticists led by Bouchard. This is a fascinating book called The Sports Gene that really looks at the contribution of our genetic DNA and how we perform in life. So we're going to go over each one of these briefly. Now, I work in a building. I have this fun job where I'm the medical director of a joint venture between UPMC and the Pittsburgh Penguins. So if you're not sports fans, I'm just going to tell you that for the second year in a row, we've won the Stanley Cup, and it's the 5th time. But when we think of human performance for guys like this, it's amazing what they go through. You know, it's not just their workout regimen, but it is synchronized with their heart rate. If their heart rate is too high, they do a different workout than if their heart rate is in a resting state. We check their cortisol levels. If they're too stressed, they don't work out. You know, last month a mattress arrived in my building because we're building a relaxation room. We cook 3 meals a day for them. And even the structure of our building, the very lowest beams in our building are the same height as the beams in their arena that they play. Because when you're optimizing human performance at the very highest level, you want to address all areas of influence: mental, physical, social, emotional. But it's not only important for the games we play, let's be honest, right? So the University of Pittsburgh is fortunate to be able to work with the DoD, who has prioritized synchronizing the human performance of people from boot camp as we try to optimize it into the very best warriors that we can produce. And it would seem obvious that we would harness the components of human optimization, but only recently have we started doing things like figuring out how not to break their bones by eliminating long runs, by synchronizing the physical therapy portions of their training so that we lose less guys on their training path, because let's face it, we've been in conflict for a long time in this country. So it's not just athletes we need to optimize, it's our warriors, and then it's you and me. A large part of my research has been in the human optimization of people like you and me. These are masters athletes. They care about their health. They exercise 3 or 4 times a week. And we've done a series of studies looking at musculoskeletal aging and what it takes to keep us optimized. And I wish I could share all of the studies we've done, but I'm going to send you away with one talking point that I was so pleased yesterday to find out that Craig Venter shares with me, which is the opinion that if you do nothing else, you grow lean muscle mass. You do whatever it takes to build your lean muscle mass. Lean muscle mass and the lack of intramuscular adipose tissue will prevent insulin insensitivity. It will decrease the inflammation in your body if you have more lean muscle than intramuscular fat tissue. So I'll explain what I've done in this study. These are MRI slices through the quads of varying populations of active people compared to a control sedentary person. So on the left is the quad slice of MRI of a 40-year-old triathlete. Notice the gorgeous muscle, right? The quads I'm going to describe to you if you're not a muscle person are gorgeous. They do not have a lot of intramuscular adipose tissue as measured by very sophisticated NIH software. Then if you sit around for 35 years, you will accumulate peripheral fat. Your muscle will become fatty infiltrated, and you will have all the metabolic problems that go along with high fat content. But what happens if you keep moving? Well, this is the slice of a 70-year-old triathlete. It looks the same as the 40-year-olds. When we do the sophisticated statistics on it, it does not have intramuscular fat at a significant level. When we tested the strength, they were nearly equal. So it shows us that we are capable at ages longer than we suspect of maintaining and optimizing our bodies.